Hello, I'm John White.
And I'm Karen Devine. Tonight live at 5.
I'm Sarah Trott. Live in Indio. An RV home supposed to be left vacant left one person dead after an early morning fire.
Plus, the holy fire burning into Riverside County from Orange County continuing to grow tonight after the minute details on the firefight, and also a delay in the case against the man now accused of starting this fire.
And sentencing for the 2 men convicted in the Pinyon Pines triple murder case will be held tomorrow. We break down the entire case.
You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader. This is News Channel 3, live at 5.
One person is dead tonight, found after firefighters put out a fire in an RV park in Indio this morning, and there are still a lot of unanswered questions tonight about what happened. News Channel 3 Sarah Trott is at the Indian Wells RV Resort near Jefferson Street and Highway 111 in Indio with up-to-the-minute details on this story we've been bringing you all day. Sarah.
That's right, John. This home was supposed to be vacant. Neighbors told me the family that lived here moved out more than a month ago. But when fire crews got this fire under control, they found one person dead inside. This was the scene residents woke up to.
I thought I heard someone screaming.
Then I saw orange coming through the blinds, and I looked and I called 911 and I grabbed my laptop and I backed up as fast as possible.
Startling the quiet RV park in the early morning hours.
It freaked me out. I didn't know if it was an earthquake because my trailer was rambling.
Cal Fire crews found one victim who died inside the structure. Today, the double-wide trailer, a complete loss. A few residents temporarily without power.
All of a sudden I heard a very large explosion and a blood-curdling scream.
This neighbor saying he saw this silver car parked outside the property and a man hanging around the home earlier that day. Not much remains left on this property. What was once a home is now in ashes, but what still is standing, not even an arm's distance away, is the neighbor's next door house.
And so it was pretty frightening.
We're told the home belonged to a family of 5, no longer living there, but described as friendly neighbors.
They had brought me food over to my place and barbecued. You can see the barbecues. The only thing left standing, they barbecued carne asada and brought me food, and they were just awesome people, but they left about a month and a half ago.
Now, the cause of this fire remains under investigation. It's unclear if this was an accident or if the victim or someone else intentionally started this fire. Stay with us with any new developments both on air and online. Reporting live in Indio, I'm Sarah Trott, News Channel 3.
Thank you, Sarah. Continuing coverage on the holy fire burning in the Cleveland National Forest. We've just learned Forrest Gordon Clark, the man accused of starting the fire, refused to come out of his jail cell today, forcing his arraignment to be postponed until tomorrow. While nearly 7,000 homes and more than 20,000 people are under mandatory evacuation orders tonight, as the fire has charred more than 9,600 acres and is only 5% contained. 2 firefighters suffered injuries today. While evacuations are in place, some residents are choosing to stay and protect their homes.
We have our water trucks, our 2 water buffaloes, and we're ready to go. So, I mean, what else are you going to do? The people that believe in a mandatory evacuation, they left, and I believe that I should stay here and protect my property.
51-year-old Forrest Clark again being held on $1 million bail for reportedly starting that fire. If convicted on all charges, he faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. And an alert tonight for residents affected by the Cranston fire or living in the burn areas. Officials say to be prepared for thunderstorms and severe weather, which could cause mud and debris flow. The fire remains at 96% contained and is holding at 13,000 acres burned. Fire officials are expecting to have the Cranston fire contained by sometime today.
Well, a little extra moisture in the air can help firefighters on both of those major fires. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Haley Clausen's tracking our conditions. Haley, we're certainly feeling that moisture here in the desert today. We could kind of smell it too this morning.
Absolutely. Just like yesterday, we're dealing with high humidity right here in the Coachella Valley, which is something, yes, we would prefer not to have, but putting the positive spin on it, it is good news for firefighters. 35% relative humidity right now in Desert Hot Springs. Same for Thousand Palms, 37% registering in Indio. Yes, it is elevated, and the thing is, we're keeping it like this even into our Friday. And what we're looking at right now on radar is actually diminishing storms and just showers that are continuing to work their way towards the west. But earlier around San Gorgonio Mountain up near Big Bear, there was a severe thunderstorm warning. That storm has weakened. It has traveled off towards the west. Now we're just looking at some showers, but that red polygon you're looking at is still a flash flood warning in effect until 5:30 up there. Actually near Angeles Oaks, over 9/10 of an inch of rain came within that isolated thunderstorm up there. So that's what we're really going to be looking at moving forward, is the chance for more isolated thunderstorms to develop, not only today, but also into our Friday. So coming up in my complete first alert forecast, we're going to be taking a look at our futurecast and what we can anticipate as we make our way closer to the weekend.
Thank you, Haley. It's been more than a decade since 3 people were killed at their Pinyon Pines home. Robert Pape and Kristen Smith were found guilty of murder earlier in the summer. The 2 men expected to be sentenced tomorrow, facing the possibility of life in prison without parole. News Channel 3's Jake Ingracia takes us through the case over the years with what you need to know about Pape and Smith and what's being called one of Riverside County's most infamous trials.
One September night in 2006, a home in Pinyon Pines gutted by fire. This video from that Alpine Drive residence the next day. Forensic teams on scene, discovering 3 family members dead. Vicki Friedley, her boyfriend John Hayward, and Vicki's 18-year-old daughter Becky. Her sister telling 48 Hours.
We knew right away that everyone was dead. I learned that Becky was found in a wheelbarrow. Apparently she had been placed in this and set on fire. My baby sister was gone.
The burning so severe the cause of Becky's death was undetermined. Her mom and Hayward in the burned house, both shot. From the night that home went up in flames, the night those 3 family members lost their lives in 2006, until the first time anyone was charged in 2014, nearly 7.5 years had passed. That's 2,500 days without justice.
7 years. 7 years went by before anything happened.
New evidence presented in a 2014 grand jury investigation leading to the initial arrests of Becky Friedley's ex-boyfriend, Robert Pape, and his friend, Kristen Smith. After years of waiting, the victims' families speaking out that day.
We have faith in the justice system. We are confident that progress is being made in this case.
Those charges eventually dropped and Pape and Smith set free. Then, in 2016, a decade after the murders, the 2 arrested again after new evidence surfaced. Cell phone tower analysis suggesting Pape and Smith were traveling together toward Pinyon Pines just before the murder, as well as an informant who said Smith admitted to him that he set the fire, speaking exclusively to News Channel 3.
He said something went wrong and we torched the whole effing place.
Pape seen here in court that week wearing a prison jumpsuit. And earlier this summer, after 10 grueling days of deliberations, jurors reaching guilty verdicts for both Robert Pape and Kristen Smith for murders committed nearly 12 years ago. Becky's father that day, his daughter would have been 30 now.
I waited 11 years, 9 months for this day, and I'm very happy. I'm glad to see that they were found guilty, and I think the whole Coachella Valley can sleep better now.
And the prosecutor.
It's clear that they believe that something went wrong, and what went wrong happened between Mr. Pape and Becky, and Kristen was there to help clean up afterwards. So I believe that's what their verdict signaled and said.
Jake Ingracia, News Channel 3.
Pape and Smith's sentences are scheduled tomorrow morning at the Riverside Hall of Justice. The 2 facing the possibility of life in prison without parole. Our Jake Ingracia you saw there will be in the courtroom. Stay with News Channel 3 for the very latest.
Local educators are noticing more students getting caught with pot on campus. Tonight, new at 6, an I-team investigation will explore the Palm Springs Unified School District's response to something first noticed shortly after recreational marijuana was legalized in California.
Similar to alcohol, you know, if they start very young, then chances are it's going to affect their brain development. That'll affect their lifelong learning. That will affect, you know, how they can be successful in the future. So it's just not about keeping kids in school. It's about really affecting the community long term.
See how the district is taking drastic measures to educate students of all ages and their parents on this new marijuana concern. See Jeff Stoll's I-team exclusive report, Caught with Pot, tonight at 6 on News Channel 3.
A teacher strike in Banning continues.
Next on News Channel 3, an update on the dispute, the negotiations today, and how it could all end up in court.
Plus, Jazz in the Pines will be held in Idlewild this weekend, while Caltrans is recommending drivers take Highway 243 to get to the festival.
And President Trump's legal team presenting a counter offer to Robert Mueller, why the president's lawyers don't want him answering any questions. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's News Leader.
It's day 2 of the Banning teachers' strike against their district for what they're calling unfair labor practices. Since last school year, the district required teachers to be in the classroom an extra 52 minutes to meet state instruction time requirements, but with no pay for that time. Both sides made several counteroffers today, including teachers offering to add 2 whole school days to the year, but Banning Superintendent Robert Gillen said no.
As teachers, we are trained to teach our children respect and also recognize poor behavior from our students, and we are recognizing it here with our leadership. They are not wanting to work with us.
He's dictating rather than listening. I don't know how he's still in his position. You hear Gian a lot with among parents and teachers. I don't know how he stays in his position.
The last 2 days, teachers will continue to strike through Friday and will not be back in the classroom until a deal is made. If the two sides cannot reach an agreement, the case will head to court on August 28th and 29th in Glendale with the Public Employee Relations Board.
Caltrans is issuing a traffic alert for motorists planning on attending the Jazz in the Pines Music Festival this weekend up in Idlewild. Drivers are encouraged to use Highway 243 from Interstate 10 in Banning to attend the festival. Caltrans is continuing to work through the weekend, I should say, to make repairs to guardrails and signs on Highway 74 for the start of school on Monday for students in the Hemet area. The California Highway Patrol will be on scene to assist with traffic control and enforcement. If you do use 74, the speed limit during an escort is 25 miles per hour. Pay attention, keep your eyes on the road, and follow all instructions from work crews and law enforcement. Delays could last up to an hour, but I'll tell you that Highway 243 from Banning is an easy way to go.
Definitely easy. All right, traffic alert for Cathedral City. Perez Road will be closed near Date Palm Drive due to work on the Date Palm Bridge widening project. That's beginning at 10 o'clock tonight. It will be closed until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, so motorists are being advised to use East Palm Canyon Drive as an alternative route during this 12-hour period.
Donations continue to come in tonight for the 5th annual Pack the Bus Drive.
Next on News Channel 3, people are dropping off backpacks and plenty of school supplies at the Walmart in Palm Desert. You're looking at a live picture inside the bus. Look how many items have been donated today so far. This is amazing. And we're going to tell you more about this when we come back.
And kudos to all of you who went out there and braved the humidity that we're experiencing, but temperatures much cooler than what we felt yesterday. As we get ready to sit down at the dinner table, those temperatures only cooling off by about a degree within the next hour. We're still keeping partly cloudy skies as we make our way into this evening. My first alert forecast is coming up next. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's News Leader.
There's a little more time tonight to donate back to school supplies through Sunline's Pack the Bus event. This is a live look at the 5th annual event going on right now at the Walmart on Monterey in Palm Desert. It started at 5 this morning. People have dropped off, as you can see, hundreds of backpacks and loads of supplies for students in need here in the Coachella Valley, and they're still dropping things off right now. Everything will be distributed by the Coachella Valley Housing Coalition. Karen and I had a chance to meet with many of you who dropped by this afternoon. It's a case of neighbor helping neighbor and making sure kids get off to a great start this school year.
Events like this are important. We get to work with the community, providing assistance in places where people need a helping hand. It's a great opportunity for our employees to contribute in the community too.
Donations will still be accepted until 6 tonight. Thank you to everyone at Sunline. Many of them have been out there since 4 or 5 this morning. And everyone who has stopped by to make donations, you have another 43 minutes to stop by and do so yourself.
A lot of backpacks already. Go ahead and bring some other supplies too. Oh, wow, that's amazing. In other news tonight, President Trump's legal team has presented a counter offer to special counsel Robert Mueller, who is seeking an interview with the president. As Arlette Sines reports, sources tell ABC News the president's team is not inclined to have the president answer questions relating to obstruction of justice.
President Trump once again is trying to discredit the Russia investigation. He tweeted, "This is an illegally brought rigged witch hunt run by people who are totally corrupt and or conflicted." This comes as his legal team has rejected special counsel Robert Mueller's request to interview the president in person about obstruction of justice. On Fox News.
Why do you want to get him under oath? You think we're fools? You want to get him under oath because you want to trap him into perjury. Well, we're not going to let you do that.
Sources familiar with the negotiations tell ABC News the president's team gave Mueller a counteroffer. The president will consider answering, quote, appropriate questions in writing, but won't answer those related to obstruction of justice. It's highly unlikely those terms will be accepted by Mueller. As the special counsel weighs the rebuttal, a top Trump ally appears to be tying the Russia probe to the midterms. Secret audio obtained by MSNBC shows Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes at a GOP fundraiser seeming to tell donors Republicans must hold on to the majority to protect the president from the Mueller probe.
If Sessions won't unrecuse and Mueller won't clear the president, we're the only one. Which is really the danger. That's why I keep, and thank you for saying it, by the way. I mean, we have to keep all these secrets. We have to keep the majority. If we do not keep the majority, all of this goes away.
A spokesman for Nunes defended the comments, saying it was unsurprising to see the media spin the congressman's routine observations as some nefarious plot. Arlette Saenz, ABC News, Washington.
Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Haley Clausen.
We began this Thursday with a whole lot of sunshine, and then those clouds joined us in, and now we're beginning to see them break up just a little bit. But looking towards the north from our Toro Peak sky cam, still plenty of moisture in the air, and you don't need to look outside. You just step outside and you feel it. We are dealing with high humidity, but that has also helped our temperatures cool on down. Now, right now, Palm Springs hanging out at 103. The high this afternoon coming in at 104 at Palm Springs International Airport, and thermal, the high being 108. So overall, still very seasonable for this time of year. It's fantastic. But yeah, we are dealing with those muggy conditions. When we start seeing our dew point temperatures climb into the 60s and then the 70s like they were yesterday, it's oppressive. We don't like it. But this is exactly what we're going to be experiencing even as we head into our Friday. So when we're talking relative humidity, between about 30% from majority of the area. And also as we make our way into Friday, we're going to be seeing more of this. A lot of action on our radar across the desert as well as in our local mountains. Still having that flash flood warning in effect. Again, this is just until 5:30, but the storm that did bring the heavy rain has dissipated, now just continuing to track some light showers across the area. And there is still activity over Arizona that is trying to make its way towards the west. So throughout the rest of tonight and again into tomorrow, we're going to be paying attention to that because there's still a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, not to mention that area of low pressure down towards the south. If you've been tracking along with me all week, you know this is, or what was once, Hurricane John. It is now Tropical Storm John. It's continued to weaken. Maximum sustained winds now just at 65 miles per hour. John is going away from the United States, but it's still helping pull that moisture up from the south, and that's why we're getting such an indulgence in all of this moisture. Now, we are still dealing with a little bit of a breeze out there, but overall, looking at our gust, 15 miles per hour. Overall, tonight is going to continue being very similar to what we experienced last night. And then as we make our way into the weekend, those winds will begin to strengthen a bit more as our winds begin to shift and block that monsoonal moisture. But until those winds shift, this is what we're looking at for Friday. Again, storms for our mountains as well as across the desert, even continuing into our Saturday with a slight storm chance remaining in the forecast. But we will be drying out, and I forgot this graphic was in there. So just know that we're staying muggy. We're staying in the 60s. Get ready for it. But we are expecting drier conditions as we head into the next work week.
Okay, well, that'll be nice. And look at that at 102. As I've said, all summer long, that 7th day in this forecast has always been the only good one.
It certainly is. But what is not written there is actually next Thursday, we're looking to have a little bit more moisture come back into the forecast.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Haley.
Investigators revealing more about the complex in New Mexico where they discovered children were being trained to carry out school shootings.
There was a shooting range built on the west side of the property.
Next on News Channel 3, what investigators are saying about the conditions of the compound. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader.
There are disturbing new allegations about a compound in New Mexico where investigators say 11 children were living in horrific conditions and the body of one child was discovered. As Marcy Gonzalez reports, authorities believe there was much more going on there.
This squalid desert compound home, prosecutors say, to 11 children, and where the family of a missing 3-year-old from Georgia says the child's remains were found.
Did find remains of a young boy. We discovered the remains yesterday on Abdul's 4th birthday.
During raids at this compound in New Mexico over the past week, authorities discovered those remains they say still haven't been positively identified as Abdul Ghani Wahaj, and say they found his father, Siraj Wahaj, with an arsenal of weapons, charging him and 4 other adults living there with multiple counts of child abuse, accusing them of holding their 11 children ages 1 to 15 with no food or clean water, in filthy conditions with no hygiene or medical care. The father of one of the adults charged says the group was trying to create their own community and that his son texted him last week that they were struggling.
It was saying that they was in dire need. They had ran out of money and they, were starving.
And according to court documents, the foster family of one of the rescued children claims Wahaj was training the child in the use of an assault rifle in preparation for future school shootings.
There was a shooting range built on the west side of the property.
That was Marcy Gonzalez. We're back at 6.